everybody. Hey, everybody.
Why you
dancing?
We ain't gonna tell them that.
Right. But, so, hey, everybody. Welcome to Clink.
Can you believe that it's November already? It's
I cannot.
December. It's crazy.
Cannot believe it. Y'all, we have our ambiance going. This is our incense. But if you are stopping by for the very first time, hey, welcome. We are your hosts. This is
Cam.
And I am Kay. All right. We are a bunch of sister friends. Mm-hmm. We are content creators. We are podcasters. We are filmmakers.
Fashionistas.
Hey. So it's been a minute. We're glad to bring this back to you all. This is Clink the Recap. And we are recapping all the Queen's Men. Season 3, episodes. Girl, I'm about to say, I'm a church girl at her. I'm about to say verses.
Verses 6 through 8.
Right. Episodes 5-8. So, first of all, we just thank you for coming by, our loyal listeners. You want to get this recap, and we have it for you. We're just waiting for the rest of it because it is good, okay?
Because the writer's strike is now over.
The actor's strike over, so they should be back to work soon.
So
okay. So go ahead and hit that like, comment, and subscribe because we want to engage with you. We want to interact with you, and hit that like button, y'all, because that make our videos show up in other people's feeds that's similar to this. So that help us out tremendously.
Share.
Yes. So, but before we get into the recap, we just want to do some plugs because we have some projects that you guys can go and look at. Miss Cam here has a Christmas movie out on Tubi. Tell them about that.
I have a Christmas movie out on Tubi called The Perfect Gift. It was written by Jada Jones. And also coming soon is another Tubi movie by Makiba Alla-Britton. She's famous from the Dirty D series. And she wrote her first film, Connected by Blood, that just had its premiere, but it will be out on Tubi soon.
Okay, and I'm going to try to see how much time. I'm going to try to put the link down to the Christmas movie, Cam's Christmas movie, so you guys can check that out. And also my short movie, horror little slasher flick is on. It's on. I put it on YouTube now, so it's available for that. You can go to, if I don't put it in the description, you can just go to my link tree that is listed on the YouTube channel, Linktree /TheK Marie, and you can find it on my YouTube. Y'all like that and share that. It was a great project. Miss Cam here was in it. She did a great job. So go ahead and support us. We out here doing things, okay?
Yes, and we have some other projects coming up
in
2024. Yes. But we'll share all that with you later. But right now, thank you for bringing us into your home.
Yes.
So what's up, Kay?
Girl, what? All the Queen's Men. So,
honey, I'm sorry, but they were giving me body because they had to draw me back in. Because at first I was like, okay, I'm getting a little these little routines, but the routines have gotten better.
They have gotten better.
Because for that minute, I was like, I don't know what y'all do for the choreo. That's one of the best parts, though. It's not to me so much that they're taking their clothes off.
You like when they choreo?
Yeah. And they be rolling. Okay.
Yeah. Girl, so it's a lot that happened, y'all. So we're going to get into it. So go ahead and start us off.
You said we're starting with episode 5.
It's 5-8.
Okay, you need to start with that one because.
Okay, so it comes on where Trouble. Remember, she thought she was all big and bad until Madam and Tommy told her to shoot Casanova.
To pull the trigger.
Yeah.
And then her scary butt went running off like the woman that she is, because she is a girl.
Because she was like, because Madam was like, I told you weren't ready.
You ain't
She
ready?
was talking Trouble so stupid. She was like, you got something for me to steal?
I could steal something, but I'm not one.
I ain't no killer. What did Ezell say in Friday when Debo was knocked out? He was like, I ain't a fighter. He said, I'm a thief. It was something like that. He said,
but she ain't no killer, so it's just
she ain't no killer.
She finally showed that she did not have balls.
So let me see if I can remember. I just watched that. We watched it earlier today. So she did not do that, and Madam told her get her ass back with the amateurs.
Yes, because she was acting so hardcore, and then you're trying to act all hardcore like you're ready to play with the big dogs, and you're not ready to play with the big dogs. So go sit down, girl.
And what else happened? Oh Lord. I believe is that when Detective Davis, she did come over what's his face house.
Oh honey, that's when her and Doc started getting the Doc in the D. Oh, she's her little drunk behind. He was supposed to go meet the mayor, the senator's daughter at the bar.
Yeah.
And she wasn't there, but he sees Detective Davis, and she's sitting there and she's throwing back because she's frustrated and everything. So he calls Madam, and she says, get up on her, see what she gonna tell you. And he gets up on her.
Yeah, that was 4 when at the bar, right? And he put his schlong on her knee or her thigh.
She was like, get back.
Knowing she liked that edge, that's why she went home to his house. So Casanova though, wait a minute, let me back up. So Amp is he get on my nerve.
Girl, he's starting to act a little
whiny. He get on my nerve because they were all in the in the room, and
he just keep going off on dime like he crazy.
Does,
and she is truly concerned about his behavior. At this point, everybody is concerned about his behavior. But I don't like the way he's treating Fuego because they've been friends since the beginning, and he is acting so stank towards him.
But remember when he told Dam, he was like, introduce me. That whole scene was just, and she was like, yeah, okay. He like, get your ass up there, and I was like, who are you talking to? And she was like, okay, so she did it from the thing, and
because he wanted to make her get on stage so he could feel special. She was like, I ain't doing that. And she didn't. So don't be messing with the women, because when a woman is fed up, it ain't nothing you can do.
Okay, so it's coming back. So, and this is the episode when Blue notices old girl spending the money.
Yes.
Okay, and so she was like, she want VIP. She was like, keep a little for yourself. It looks like you can need it. You can use it. I was like, oh.
Yeah, but that money was traced back to the Black Rock Boys, which was some money that was stolen.
Yes,
from Madam.
Yeah. So, she goes to the VIP area, right? And
she's a freaky little heifer,
right? So, so midnight. No, they said midnight back there. And so Blue tells Madam, look, that's the chick that's been spending the money. She was like, it looked like yeah.
And she all the money is coming back from midnight. So they were trying to figure out.
They thought he was in there too. I'm like, come on now,
midnight is true to the game.
He is true to Madam. He's true to the game. So they let him go in there, and he freaked her off. And I'm sorry, but I'm into some stuff, but don't choke my ass,
girl.
I'm not passing out.
She got asphyxiated like a fool. She had the whole mask on, and he was choking her until she passed out. That's a little too freaky for a lot of folks.
So while she passed out, Madam and Blue comes in, and they
wake that hoe up.
Right. So they knew that at this point midnight was not a part of that. So they questioned her and asked her, where'd you get the money? So they knew she was lying. She's like, my brother. She was like, your brother dead.
Yeah, your brother's dead.
Billy dead. Okay. Right. So
she kept lying. And so they went to her house.
Girl,
and her mother, honey, she was a woman of God. She was like, get out of my house, get thee behind me, Satan, and all of that, honey. But then when it got thick, that mouth turned, honey. Right. She turned from Christian enough.
Right, because when Madam saw that it was, this is what I thought that why she killed her, because Madam had that soft. I think Madam had that soft spot because the way she was treating that man in the wheelchair.
Yeah. And she said, and I have investigated you. She said, I've investigated you, and you sitting here wanting to let this man see his kids. You keeping him against his will. because the man was disabled, and I think it did remind her of her
did. I
father.
think
So
it really
she was
did.
just it hit something in her.
Yeah, and then the mama had the nerve. She went from Christian to get out of my house, you bitch. The
Yeah,
way
she
she put
said
that emphasis on that bitch, though, I was like, girl, you work, you acting, girl. I was like, because I believed it.
If you ain't never been called a bitch, rewind that episode so you would know what it sounds like to be called a bitch. Because she called her a bitch.
She did. She put that emphasis.
Mm-hmm.
So
she does the bitch. You know, it's kind of like, bitch. You know,
right. Yeah. So Madam goes over there. Was it Madam that put the insulin shot in her?
So Madam goes in the refrigerator and gets the other man's insulin, and she shoots it in her and kills her behind. And the daughter is sitting there screaming, "Don't kill my mama!" She's like, because she was running her mouth. Sometimes when you're in a bad situation, you just need to be quiet and stop trying to act big and bad, especially somebody gonna roll up in your house. I ain't saying nothing.
So they find the money, of course, in the sofa.
It's behind the mother on the couch, and she said,
"Right, girl." I was like, "Oh, they don't know who."
And Madam got mad because she don't play about her money.
Right. So, yeah. So, but before they was let's get the part. Before they were taking the girl out, they was taking her out to the car. Joy was like, "Madam, hold on. There's some guys riding around in the motorcycles, right? They keep circling the block." And that time was like, "Nigga, it's a motorcycle gang over here," So
right.
But it ended up being Fernando.
With his hot-headed self.
Right, I can't stand him. So Madam was in the car, and so he was like, "Get out." And so Joey was like, him or her. She's like, "What you? Let me get out."
And Joey a little slick little thing because he be all up in her face. He trying to get something on the slide. I don't know where he came from, but he all in her face.
Right. So Madam and Fernando, they had that exchange, the battle of the who's better. I'm not scared of you.
I'm not scared of you.
And so Fernando, before he leaves, he goes to Blue and do like this, like a pow, and to Madam. Girl, but the time that he was going like this, Tommy kept on putting his head.
Tommy don't play. Tommy is irritating as hell too. He don't play when it comes to Madam. He be like, "Look, let me tell you, he in love with Madam now."
Yes. So what else happened? So we can just go on. What you got?
So we're gonna go into episode number 6, where Tommy and Big D. Big D is
hold on, but why Tommy? Keep calling him Baby D.
Because Tommy is jealous because all the women like Big D.
Everybody can correct him too.
Right, they
can correct him, right? Because I think Blue corrected him.
Everybody.
Madam.
His name is Big D. He's such a hater. It's so much hateration, and it's a lot of hateration in between these men. And so Big D finds his way to the basement. Right. And then what's funny, Tommy is about to kill Casanova, and Big D convinces Tommy, which shows that Tommy's not that intelligent. Right. He says, "I have these special magic bullets, and if I shoot him..."
But before that, he was like, but Tommy was like, he like, nigga, like what? I'm from the, what did he say? "I'm from New Orleans, man. I do it all.
I do it all. You end up in the swamp messing with me." So he Jedi mind tricks him into thinking that he can handle it. So he said, "Let me shoot him with my gun and my special bullet." So he shoots him several times and hurries up and hog ties him and wraps him up in plastic and tape. And he tells him, "Bring him out to my car and he'll dump the body."
Right. Because then he said he needed more plastic.
He did.
Yeah, he said he needed more. Tommy was like, "That's not enough." Because with the special bullets, they're supposed to not splatter all over the place.
So you won't bleed out. It'll just stay inside of you like a ricochet inside of you.
I'm like, come on. Okay.
When he said that, I was like, okay. And then we had Trouble. The guy, they gave him a name. His name is Champ, and Rashawn. So they're sitting there, and Trouble is just so irritated. She is just going through it. And they're like, "What the hell is wrong with you?" And she was like, nothing. And then she busts up. Trouble a trip. She busts on Rashawn. Well, he's mad because Tandy did X, Y, Z to him. I'm like, what kind of friend did you?
She not. She won't even let him stay at the crib with her.
She a friend of me. Because she act like she is. She do care, but she be so busy trying to be hardcore. Because if you really need her, she will be there. So he tells her what's going on with Tandy and her husband and how Babyface played him. And so Champ was like, you got to be careful of him. So everybody is starting to see that Babyface ain't ish. He's selfish.
As we're going to see later.
He's so
I can't stand him. Somebody need to beat his. I can't stand him.
And so Tandy, she blowing up Rashawn's phone, and Rashawn won't answer because he got a whole. He's scared.
But remember when Champ was like, "You better like handle that," and then but Trouble was like, "Nah, I've seen things. You won't leave that alone, Rashawn."
Yeah, and then she busted out what happened. So we got Dime and Big D. I thought at this point they were going on a date, but they weren't. He was just trying to walk her to her car.
Yeah, because Midnight was gone.
He been trying to walk her to the car.
He been trying to get her in his car.
So at this point, I was getting kind of suspicious of Big D. I was like, Big D, you doing a lot, and then how you just go kill somebody and then you turn right back around and be like, let me walk you to your car. No, he's just super, super happy guy.
Let me lay it on you.
Let me put it on you. Because at first I
thought you got a dead body in the car.
That was just weird. So you drove her to your hotel with a dead body.
He tried to go to her house, but she was like, nah, bro.
I don't know you like that.
Right.
Not at all. So Joey tells Madam that she needs to be careful and let him do his job. And of course, Madam rebels. And she's like, you don't tell me what to do because I'm paying you.
Right.
So he tells her to stop taking risks. So Blue asks, Madam, can she go home? And Madam, of course, says, no, you are not going home because Fernando is out there. It's too much going on. And the last time Blue was at home, she almost died.
Right.
So I wouldn't be trying to go back home.
And he called her, right?
Mm-hmm.
So he was like, I know you're not here, I'm at your house. Where you at?
Right. And then she's so tough. She's like, I want to go home. Girl, bye. All the way back. Somebody tell me they're at my house. No, I am not.
Right.
So Joey is saying, Joey keeps trying to cut into Madam about Tommy. But what he does, he's sitting there talking about Tommy to Blue. And Blue let him talk. So she was like, you want to repeat that again? And then Blue was standing right behind him.
Yeah, Tommy was standing right behind him. He was like, he's right behind me.
And she like, yep. So he's looking all stupid.
So Tommy was like, he was talking all that mess to Blue, so talking to me.
Right. So Tommy tells Blue what happened with Big D after Joey leaves. And so Blue is like, really? Okay, well, he got a little something about it. So
Tommy was impressed.
He was, especially about the bullets.
Right.
It make you bleed out. But he wrapped them up so fast he wouldn't have been able to tell if he was bleeding out or not. So Big D walks down to her car and she has two flat tires that I don't want to. Okay, that man. Okay, I'll put it that way. Maybe.
Amp did. Flattened two of her tires.
So Big D tells her he will take her home, and she's like, "Mom, we're not doing that," because she know that he's really been trying hard to get at her. And so she agrees to go to his hotel, and she goes, "Nothing is going to happen," but Amp, for whatever reason, he's at home.
Yeah,
and he is getting on my nerves with how he's treating Fuego.
He was like, "What you went to me like that? I don't know.
That was some prison stuff. Talking about you. I was like, what kind of man?
Like, as soon as you grow some titties and a fat ass, give me a call.
But what we didn't know that we found out is that Amp has a tracker on that, but he can't stand her. But he
but you're tracking her. Girl,
so after that happens,
stalker-ish.
He leaves. But then during this, Madam gets a call from the nursing home and she talks to her father.
Yes.
And they're just catching up and she keeps trying to tell him, I want to come and see you. And he's like, no, don't change the routine. Come and see me on your regular day, which is Thursday. So then we go fast forward to Doc, and he is sleeping with Detective Davis.
Detective Davis.
She looks real happy.
Because he shows up at his house, right? And she there. She done took out the cameras and everything. So he was like, he thought about it. He was like, "Oh, you want some?"
You want this dick. I was like, because he's a diggy doc, y'all. And that's a fact, y'all.
I mean, who? I don't blame him.
Because he is.
I don't blame her.
He is noise. Okay, so.
So they get it in, right?
They get it in. And then her dumb butt gonna think that he gonna to give her some information.
Right. I was like, dude, and you like, you think you got, we say, you think your magic,
you got a magic vibe.
Right. Because she was like, was it good? He was like, when it's real good, I go to sleep. She's like, so what you saying? He's like, he got tightened up.
He was like, I need to go a couple more rounds. I was like, he got stamina like a mug. Girl. But it's funny because she thinking that she gonna get him relaxed and she gonna give him some and he gonna give her some information. But the cute thing is, I think they kind of like each other.
I do too. I think he's really into her, and I think she's really into him.
Okay. I would just say this, and I know everybody is into different things, but I think it was really weird for me when I looked and saw that Midnight and Babyface are having an orgy with all these women. Girl, I'm like,
girl, I was thinking the same thing. I was like, there's no way I can be getting it on with my friend in the room. I was thinking the same thing. Girl.
Right. Somebody you know, and then when they get done, they just casually.
Men don't care about this.
They just casually start talking like, hey, pass the Grey Poupon. And I'm like,
well, no, because Face was trying to stiff him. He was like, Nick.
Face is like, a snake.
I don't like him. I do not like Babyface. And I'm like, he need to chill because he will for sure get his ass beat by Doc and Midnight.
Midnight was like, I'm not Ray Sean.
Right.
You gonna run me now. And then on top of that, you in my crib. Right. You been sleeping on my couch and then you gonna try to cut me out.
Exactly.
You sound crazy.
He was like, I am not Ray Sean, nigga.
So he checks him real hard, and then they start talking about Amp and how he's been acting, and he's been real funny acting in the whole Big D situation. So Babyface, with his hating self, he's like, I'm gonna get Big D. I don't know. I'm gonna get him. I was like,
nigga, he will kick your ass. Okay, you just need to stop because he can't really fight like that unless it's somebody that's like weak.
Right. So then Tommy tells Madam, because she can't sleep. She went to bed, but then she couldn't sleep. So he tells Madam about how Big D handled Casanova. And she was like, oh, she was a little impressed.
Okay. But they say okay too much, entirely too much for me.
Because they just
okay.
It's like I was just gonna say, as an actor, you have to try to have a better vernacular. You don't want to fall into saying the same things over and over. So, like, if you're a lawyer, speak lawyerese. If you're a gangster, speak gangsterese. You really got to do your research.
Yeah.
So at this point, Big D says that he knows that there's a tracker on his car because Madam questions Big D, and he says he put a tracker on his car.
Right, because
Tommy put a tracker on Big D.
Because Madam was like, because she was impressed. She's like, oh, okay. So she was like, so what are you doing with the body? And that's when he told me he's gonna take it to the swamp and let the crocodiles. I'm like, what is supposed to be from? Right, where they got
where y'all
crocodiles.
Right.
They're not in Louisiana. But I'm like, okay. So yeah, that's when Tommy he put a tracker on his phone and he said he's at the motel right now.
Right.
Yeah.
So Fernando calls Blue and lets her know that he's at her house. And then he's chilling and he want to meet her. And Blue, I want to see you face to face. I'm like, girl, if you don't go sit down. And she asked him, did you get screwed by other men when you were in prison? I was like, dang, because she was throwing shots at him. He had to have something because he is emotionally all over the place. And of course, he was pissed. So Dime and Big D are fooling around.
He is such a tease.
He is about to get it. But she was going to give it to him. But then she said, do you have a condom? And he said, I got to go to the car. And when he went out to the car, that's when we find
that that Casanova is still alive because he is working with him. He's undercover because he put like another hole, in so he can breathe better. And I was like, So yeah, so he's a cop, undercover cop, and It is at this point. Didn't what's his face show up?
This point, Amp shows up. So when Amp got that text earlier in the show, we find out. So I guess maybe when Amp and Dime were dating, they probably had locator on each other's phone. So he was like, "Where the hell is she at?" So then that lets us know that all of a sudden the Amp does care about her because he's been tracking her the whole time,
and he keep messing with her. So he cares.
So of course they start fighting. And then Dime comes out and she's like, "Oh my gosh." So she's trying to get a something to separate them. She jumps on Amp's back, but she's just trying to get them separated because they was going at it. And then she opens up his trunk and she sees Casanova's body. She didn't look and see if she was breathing. She freaked out.
And she knew it was a dead body though. She knew it was a dead body. And she didn't want nothing to do with Big D or anything. And so she leaves.
So she jumped in Amp's car and left his ass
there. Right. I was like, dang, you just was okay.
She was gangster.
I guess because he flattened her tires.
And then we go to the next episode where Amp is screaming at Dime for her. You know, we already went through that. They were fighting. And then we saw that Tommy is such a simp. He's like, "Madam, can I eat your cootie cat?"
Madam, and that's so cringe to me.
Madam, I'm like,
that is so cringe. She was like, I'll let you, eat the box in the morning. I'm like, that's that whole it just ugh.
So then Tandy comes
because Tommy just get on my nerve.
He's irritated.
Yeah. So Tandy come into the madam's office.
Talk to Rashawn.
Oh, right.
And she pays it to Rashawn. She had a tracker on because remember Tandy did give Rashawn a phone and money and a car at one point. So she had she saw that he was over Champ's house, so she pops up and knocks on the door. She's like, "What's up?" And so Champ sticks up for him, and she's like, "No, you got to go." So she pulls out like $10K, 5x5 a wad, and she gives it to him and says, "I need you to go outside." And he's like, "Dog. I'll be right outside."
He was like, Rashawn is something else.
So after they talk.
Because she basically wanted him not to say anything because her husband's running for mayor.
And sign
an NDA.
Yeah.
And offer him what? Was it 25,000 at first?
30,000. And he was like.
And then Champ comes in and was like
125. And then, Rashawn's like, "Huh?" And she's like, "I don't have that kind of money.
I don't want your money." He's like, better.
He was like, "You gonna get this money." So so then they go through that, and so she leaves in a huff because I like Champ. Champ is he looking out for himself, but at least you gonna get some money out of this. They did.
I just take my 25. You keep your 100,000.
Right. So Champ says he'll help Rashawn because Rashawn like, "No, I want to hurt him."
Yes.
So
he wants revenge.
Get the money, and then I'll help you do whatever to them. And he's like, "Okay." So Madam goes to detective. Madam goes. Doc calls Madam and lets her know that Detective Davis is at his house because they were having all this chit chat going back and forth. But he was like, "Oh, boo, I could put in rounds." And so I guess he slayed her behind out because she was in his bed. But she was drinking a lot. And he kept telling her, "You need to slow down on that. Don't be throwing up on my couch."
So Madam was pissed because he wasn't able to get, because Doc told Madam that like she scrambled his cell phone cameras, all that, because she's like, "You didn't get no picture of the bitch sleeping." And
right,
she was like,
"No, nothing."
So he didn't get no evidence.
So Davis goes to her office, goes to the police station, and she starts talking to the DA. So the DA is standing there and she's talking, and then she brings in Tandy's husband, and they start talking to her. She's like, "Look," and he tells her his plan is to shut down the Club Eden, and that he knows if he can shut that down
but before then though, I think didn't Tandy meet with Madam because she wants to do a deal?
Not yet.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this is before that. Okay.
No, this is
okay. All right.
Got the
okay, go ahead, girl. Go ahead, girl. I'm getting ahead.
He said the Club Eden is like a sore spot, so he wants to shut it down because there's been a shooting there. So he's just trying to do whatever he can do because it's not the best.
But we know that's not the real reason.
So the DA tells Davis, "You do whatever you need to do. It's not like you have to do things by the book because you already know what to do without being in the book." So then, while she's standing there talking to the mayoral cat, Teddy's husband, he looking at the cop, talking about something. Oh, who is he? What's his name? And she like, oh, you have enough time for that
Right.
after you get elected. So he just this blatant little nasty ass. I was like, ugh. So as they're standing there, Davis leaves, and then the DA looks over at Tandy's husband and says to him, I can't stand that bitch. And started talking about Officer Davis behind her back like a dog.
And Davis is hearing all this.
Well, actually, she did. Remember, she was lingering, but then remember she went.
Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, you go ahead because I only got to a certain. Go ahead.
So she says all this. So Davis is waiting because she like, I want to know. So she goes back in the room where they were talking, and she had a tape recorder.
Yes. Yeah, so she did have the tape recorder from when she's trying to trap the guys, and she heard all of that, right? And she of course she was like, oh, really? So
she really heard that part where she said, I don't like that bitch. She was like,
right.
So that's kind of hard. You working with somebody and thinking they're gonna. So basically, all the stuff she was doing, she's not trying to help her advance her career. Nothing. All she cared about is what she tried her agenda. So I was like, oh, I was glad that she had it. And she said, the DA said, I hate that bitch. Like, and Davis was pissed. She was like, really? She wanted to drag that home. So then Fuego comes back and Big D tries to talk to Dime, but she is like,
ignores him.
Get away.
She was like, he had a dead body. And she's like, matter of fact, I'm going to tell Matt, she is a snitch. Like, dang. First Amp,
and that was your man.
That was your man. Then I'm telling Madam. And I'm like, oh my God. When she said, I was like, she is just the biggest snitch. But so Madam, of course, Madam already knows what, and she liked what he did. So she was like, okay, but it's I got this.
Yeah, don't worry about it, girl. Don't worry about it. So Madam is fed up because Dime and Amp keep going back and forth, and she like, go get his ass. We gonna talk about this ish right now. So Dime goes to get Amp, and he's acting like a jerk, acting like he can't hear her.
Right. So they go to so Madam talks to Amp, and she was like, I'm not one to say I'm sorry, but basically that was like her way of apologizing,
And he's sitting there, and she just had to rip his ass a new asshole because he was looking like he was about to cry when he was sitting there. The weakness pisses her off. Weakness pisses me off too.
But you know what though? You can't fault him. It's like, you my auntie. You about to kill me? Well, they can't just get over that.
What she said was powerful. She said, why are you hurting yourself? Why are you hurting yourself to hurt her? And then he turned around and told her, why do you keep hurting yourself?
I was like,
who are you trying to hurt?
I was like, oh.
And she was looking like, oh. Like, I got red. He read her behind.
Yeah.
So Trouble gets mad because Big D is on stage dancing because they told, since he had Madam's back, she said he could go up there and dance with the men.
Learn the choreo, and so he comes in the thing in the locker room, the guys, and tell him what Madam said, and what Amp and them get pissed, and Fuego was like, I'll teach you,
And then Babyface with his punk ass, why he always trying to help somebody? What's wrong with him? God. And then everybody looking at him like, what is wrong? I think Babyface is getting on everybody's nerves.
He's getting on everybody's nerves.
Because he's such a hater.
Be killed off. I'm tired of I'm getting tired of him.
So Detective Davis comes to talk to Madam, and she's trying to tell her, look, I have information, but Madam ain't hearing.
She's not trying to trust. She don't really trust her at this
point. She can't trust her.
Exactly.
She's trying to bury me all this time.
Right, now you want to flip.
But Detective Davis is like, she's like, I don't want to hear nothing you got to say. But then while she's standing out there, and when Detective Davis leaves, she gets a call from the nursing home, and Blue's like, the nursing home is calling you, but when she answers, it's Fernando.
It's Fernando, y'all. It's Fernando. He was like, basically, he was taunting her, and he was alluding to the fact that they're there. They got her dad, and Madam, this is the first time in 3 seasons that we really saw her scared
Yeah.
because she screamed and everything.
She was like, Blue, go get my daddy.
Yeah.
And Blue
And
jumped.
her ass commandeered somebody. I'm like, you are not the cop.
She carjacked somebody, this girl's car. She was like, get out the car. This is no longer your car. And her and Tommy jumped in and she was trying to go
like, you are not the cop.
Find her daddy. She was not playing. And I thought that was a good twist because she broke down. Her face was tore up. She had a myriad of emotions. She was. Yes. She was like, that's my daddy.
Yes.
So then we go from there, and Fernando threatens her father with a guillotine. Mm-hmm. And so when she gets to the nursing home, her father is sleeping and he is safe and sound. Mm-hmm. So they are her and Joey, and they're all in the room together. And so she tells them to leave. And
hold up about Joey, because Blue was in the car with Joey when they was following Madam when she was speeding, down to her dad's. And so Blue was like, you got somebody at the nursing home? He was like, yeah, but nobody called me. The way she was looking at him, she just kept on looking at him like,
Because it made sense, because it's like, what are you doing?
Blue was like,
you're supposed to be taken care of. Mm-hmm. That's her main priority, is her father. Mm-hmm. Okay. So when she gets there, she all emotional. Her dad is resting. Mm-hmm. And so then she tells everybody to get out the room so she can talk to her dad, because we know her daddy can talk.
Yeah.
So this gangster Boo tells her what he tell her?
Basically, he was like, I told you not to care for nobody, even me. Mm-hmm. He's like, so this shit would get you in trouble every time. And she was like, I can't, Daddy. I love you. And he was like, I love you too, baby. But basically he was like, if I have to go, then I gotta go.
Right. But don't put yourself in jeopardy, because you can't allow your emotions to control you. Then honey, gangster daddy, he like, pull that sheet back right there. He got a whole arsenal in the bed with him. Mm-hmm. He like, ain't nobody gonna come in here and get me. Mm-hmm. And so she, she's emotional because that's her father. Mm-hmm. And then that's just about it with that. And then it switches over to we are at episode 8 now, because we already jumped to she was losing it. And
so about the part with Tandy, but we'll just say this anyway.
The homeless man is starting to harass
Davis in front of her house. Yeah, and we know who that ended up being. Casanova.
Did you peep that?
Yeah, I did.
So I was like,
yeah,
that must be him, because he got to find a way to talk to her. So what happens? She put him in the car, and she was like, I just want to come home. I just want to come home and try to call and give me some D, and I can't really do that. Because and so that happens, and so he tells her that he has put a plant, that he has an informant, and she says, well, who is it? He said, I can't tell you that. And he is talking her down, because he said, this is going to boost my career and this, that, and the other. She listening to him, but I know on the inside she like, if you know what I know, that don't nobody up top give a damn about us. So let me get my money.
And you're not about to boost your career when I can't. My mind not about to be. I'm not gonna let you do that over me.
Right.
So yeah,
because they were both on the same side, but that she know the truth now. The upper people don't care about them. So she gets a call about they had Thomas Foreman in custody. So a rookie has arrested Tommy when he was speeding to the hospital, and so Davis gets him out of trouble. She tells the rookie, I got this. I'm going to take him down to the station. But instead of her taking him to the station, she took him to Madam.
Yeah, so we know that she had to trying to prove her loyalty, and make Madam believe look, I'm for real about this. So that's basically why she did that.
And then Tandy calls for Sean and tells him, meet me at my house. And he's like, I'm not meeting you at your house. So he hangs up on her. But then you have Champ and
girl, hold up, Trouble. Well, why Trouble ass think she gonna get in on this? Let me get in on it, girl. Why?
Right. So they told her how much money was at stake, and she's like, "Well, you can." He was like, "I'll give you $2,000."
Right, I'll give you $2,000.
I was laughing because I was like, "That's what you get when you try to play somebody." He was like, "I'll give you $2,000." And she's like, "What? You ain't gonna get?" She's like, "Okay, all right, I'll send it." But so he says no. So Tommy, okay, we already said that. Mm-hmm. So Davis at this point helped with Tommy, and then Madam gives her a big old stack of cash and tells her, go on up there, and opens the door. And Doc is there. He said, take her up to the VIP, take her up the back steps and tip him. So basically, she gave her money. She didn't know what to do when she saw all that money, honey. I would have put that money in my jacket and walked out and had me a good life. But she went up there and got the D because, you know, it's a movie. Mm-hmm. And so she went up to VIP and Doc put it on her. She's like, do you do this with all the girls? And he's honest with her, though. But he's like, hey, you know, they got big cash.
I mean, this is my job.
All right.
Don't be trying to become possessive.
So then we still got Tommy hating on Joey. I don't like him. Mm-hmm. So Madam wants to get at Fernando. And so Blue got a call from Fernando. No, Blue says she wants to go to her house. And so Madam is like, no. And then finally she tells her she can go. And so no. Blue. Yeah. Right. And so they're going to Blue's house. So they get there and Fernando is there. Mm-hmm. And so then it goes back to Trouble and Champ are walking out and they tell Rashawn, we're going to go over to Tandy's house. And they give Rashawn a gun. And he's like, I don't want a gun. I'm not going to shoot anybody. And they like, you need a gun. And so then Champ pulls up his shirt and he's like, I got mine right here. Yeah. So they like, let's get in the car, let's roll.
Champ is a little cute
and go to Tandy's. He a little short though, but he look like it. But Fernando calls and asks Blue if she coming home. And he says that he wants to screw Blue. He was like, oh, I want to F you. And she like, oh. And then Blue said she wants to go home. And then Madam sends Tommy with her and says, go ahead. And then she says, well, no. And then Blue says, don't worry about it. I got a plan. So Rashawn, Trouble, and Champ go to Tandy's house. Mm-hmm. So they're sitting outside and Champ is like,
they waste no time. I'm like, dang.
They're trying to get that shit right. But so they tell him to go in. So they say, go in, and he's scared. And he says, well, go in, and when you get in there, text me. So he texted them, and they're like, well, we want you, and da-da-da-da-da. He like, what? He's like, no. So basically, they were trying to set Rashawn up because these two burly niggas come out the back with all this stuff on. They was about to get him and do him like they did him all over again.
I'm like, they're trying to, and we're going to get into this probably in our separate chat. They're trying to like,
break him. But thank God for Champ and Trouble. They bust in the joint. They like, So they pull guns on them. They like, nah. So they like grab the money off the table. So Tandy moving kind of slow. And then one of them says, if they got all this, they got a safe in here. Mm-hmm. So then they say, take me to the safe. And they talk and joke back and forth. And then she take that gun and she knocked the hell out of Tandy. And then they grab Tandy and pop her again and tell her to take her to the safe. So they leave Rashawn there with Tandy's husband. Mm-hmm. And he's scared because this man has violated him. Mm-hmm.
So he's liable to do whatever. I would have shoved that pole right up at his. He probably would have liked it.
Rashawn lets him talk him down, and he takes the gun from Rashawn because Rashawn's not a killer.
I was like, oh my God.
And then he tells him, you get out of here. Talk to him like he wasn't nothing. You get out of here. And then he takes the gun because he gonna go back and get his wife. And when he turned his head, Rashawn got all that rage pent up. He grabbed
he snapped
a poker from the fireplace.
Yeah, he snapped.
And he started beating him, and all you saw was blood splatter on his shirt. And then we have to wait till the next episodes come out because
it did. So we waiting for them to write and film.
I forgot.
What?
We forgot to talk about Madam. Madam followed Blue to her apartment.
Oh.
And they were having an exchange. Well, how the heck we almost forget that with Fernando?
I didn't see that 8 to refresh my mind. So you go ahead. That's why Cam in.
So camera on it today.
Cam on it today. That's a teamwork.
Right, teamwork makes the dream work. So Fernando is there. Mm-hmm. Tommy and Blue come. So So they're having this exchange back and forth. And so Fernando's like, yeah, talking all this cold cash stuff or whatever. And then Madam walks in. So when Madam walks in with Joey, he turns and says, oh, I'm glad you're here. And he says, I have something to show you. He turns on the TV, a monitor, and he shows her father with a guillotine saying, help me, but his face is kind of blurred out. And then Madam looks and she's like, oh my God. And then she draws it back in.
Remember what her daddy told her. Yeah.
Yeah. So she draws it back in. And so then he says, Joey, get their guns.
At this point, I was like, oh, he's been with Concierge and them all along. He was the mole. And that's why Blue and Tommy, they felt something. They couldn't trust him.
They was like, he ain't right.
Mm-hmm.
So that happens. So Madam pulls a cigarette out of her purse and she starts telling him, I'm a psychopath, so this doesn't matter. She tells him a story about how when she was a little girl messed with her, and her daddy went to her parents' house, and then he told her that she better beat her ass. And so she said she got a bat and she beat the hell out of her. So after that happened, she takes a grenade out of her purse and stuffs it in Fernando's mouth.
I will catch a grenade for you.
And so Madam says, so if you say one more thing, the grenade is going to go off. So she had it stuffed in his mouth. So he could not move. So then she's talking to him. And so he has the thing in his hand. So if he pushed the button, that her father would die. And she's like, oh my God. So she gets a cleaver and she cuts Fernando's hand off because that way he can't kill her father.
Hello.
So then they show Fernando fall over to the floor. They show the grenade fall out of his mouth, and then they show an explosion. They show them jumping behind the couch and Joey running out of the room, and it went off.
I was like, are you kidding me? And then I was like, okay. So, like, because Cam and I were talking before we even started recording, y'all. We was like, okay, they done sucked us back in. Okay.
Yes, because in the beginning, I was like, okay, but y'all, I don't know who you got to write that.
It's still old boy writing.
It's ghostwriters.
It's Tyler.
Quite sure some ghostwriters, because honey, the way that time.
Tyler,
because when people write
he got the credit.
Of course he don't get the credit. When you're an upcoming writer, sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do to get that your money, especially when your rent is due,
right?
And the economy is the way it is,
right? So for the last 2 episodes, whenever they air, we'll
do a recap.
We'll do a recap. But the next show that we're going to recap is going to be Johnson. So you have
Johnson.
So I told y'all about that. I told y'all on the super chat, but Johnson, y'all, that is a good show. It's on Bounce. You can watch seasons 1 and 2 on the Bounce app. Okay, you download that on your smart TV. Johnson is a good show. And I can't wait to dive.
Bounce. Okay, I wrote it down.
But you know what though? What I like when it's going back for a minute when they was tipping out and Rashad came. He was like, "I did good." Huh? She was like, "Oh, keep trying, baby."
But after he's been through so much, but girl, what was a little funny too was a little comic relief they had in the dressing room when he said, "Draw a picture of how to get in their house. Do you have some scissors and some paste too?" And they kind of played off of that for a minute. So I like Rashawn's character because he really can play,
kind of
naive,
aloof,
yeah,
and you kind of do care about him. So
right, you be like, oh baby.
Yep, y'all. So whenever they come back with the last 2, that's when we recap it. But until then, we're gonna recap Johnson's. And it's the holiday, so we're gonna take this a slight little break, okay, on that.
And we'll come back. We'll let you know we're gonna come back.
And with Johnson, so you'll give you time to watch it so you can, catch up and all of that. So
if you have enjoyed this episode of
Clink.
with Cam and Kay. Please like, share, and leave a comment. And also, if you would like to reach out to us and for us to get feedback from you, you can either leave it in the comments or you can contact us through allthingscamandk@gmail.com.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir. So we are out. Till the next time, y'all.
And remember, enjoy your families this
Yes.
Thanksgiving.
Yes.
Be
Even though we don't really
happy.
celebrate it because it was a horrible thing that happened, but
It
you know, we
wasn't.
just had that time off and we just eat with our families.
So enjoy
Enjoy
your
that.
families.
Okay. All right, y'all.
Bye.